Hi guys, this is Project Life week 39 and I thought I would use my December Dreams kit today to show you that you can use themed products for non-themed projects anytime you want. I happen to have all of the papers printed out and sitting on my desk, so I'm just using them as a rough guide to see which ones might go where, and I think I'll use the pink wood grain because I love it, the teal stripe because it matches my photo, and I think that tag journaling card will be really good to just put my weekly journaling on this week. And because I've used those tags, I'm going to use a couple of other ones as sort of embellishments and probably some of the labels, and I think maybe one of the wee heart circles as well. Now I loved the teal colour on that present, but I didn't want the present, but there happened to be a solid teal background in there, so I'm going to use that one for my cupcake photo. And then I've got a little photo of Shane and Lily, and I think this heart stripe might look really good if I trim it down to 3x4 and cut the heart out and put the photo behind. So here's how I do all my digital bits and pieces. I've opened all the papers and now I'm just using the crop tool set to 4x6 to trim out the wood grain paper and the teal stripe. So again, I've just set it at 4x6 and I'm just dragging that out, taking up the full size of the paper. For my heart card, I'm going to just trim that to 3x4, and I'm just making sure that the heart's going to be in the place that I want it for the 3x4 card. And the same for this paper here, I'm just cutting out a 3x4 piece out of the solid background. Now on these embellishment sheets, I'm going to select a couple of the embellishments. I really like this little peachy coloured heart, so I'm going to copy that, just that, and paste it onto a new 4x6 sized canvas. And then I can go ahead and just crop this journal card down to 3x4. And then from the second embellishment sheet, I'm going to cut out a couple of the other tags and some of the labels. The December Dreams kit is still available from the stamp spot, so I'll leave the link for that down below if you want to grab it for yourself. But these techniques work for any digital kit, whether they're themed or not. Most kits will have plainer sort of elements that you can use in your everyday projects anyway, without it being necessarily themed. Now back to this 3x4 journal card, I'm just going to digitally add in my journaling now. I could just as easily print it out and run it through my typewriter, but I had quite a lot of journaling for this week, so it was easier just to type it in Photoshop. Now I can go ahead and print all those other cards, and this little card here, I'm just making sure none of the embellishments are overlapped. And once those are printed out, I can trim them down, and then I'm ready to put my page together. So you can see all my pieces here, and the first one I'm going to work on is just this red striped heart card. I'm using a pencil just to draw a little outline for me to trim around with my knife. My top tip for fussy cutting with a knife like this is to make sure the blade is very sharp. Mine wasn't, and it was dragging and tearing the paper. Once I put a fresh blade in it, it cut through it like butter. And then I can just erase all the pencil marks, and then I have a little heart cut out that I can put my photo behind. And I'm just going to tape this down with washi tape for now. I'm going to adhere it a bit stronger later, but for now the washi tape will do. And then I'm just putting the little embellishments that I've got roughly where I think they might go. So I've got sets of 3, so I've got those 3 tags across the page, and I did print out 4 of the labels, but I think I'm just going to use 3 of them. And I'm gonna start this whole thing by working on my title card. So one of my biggest things with digital elements is to make them look a bit real. It helps to add texture, and I do that by actually punching the holes through tags and adding thread and using stitching, and you'll see today I'm going to use a lot of different like letter stickers. It just helps the digital elements look slightly more real. So for my title card, I've stuck down my tag with the thread through it and one of the labels that I'm going to do my date stamping on. And I hadn't decided which letters I was going to use, but I think I'll use these really old foam ones just because the teal matches so nicely. So I'm just going to spread out the word week across the top of this label. And then I wasn't sure whether to use the numbers as well, but I actually quite like to use black numbers, so it just adds a little bit of difference to the top of the page there and ties a couple of those darker photos in as well. Before I stick this photo collage down, I just want to add a bit more texture to it. So I'm going to back it with just a couple of sheets of just tissue paper. It's just packaging that came in a parcel that week. So I'm just adding that, a couple of layers of that behind the photo, and then just roughing it up a little bit just to give it a bit of texture. And then I can go ahead and do the same thing with this tag that I did with the other one. Just punch a little hole through the top, and this time I'm just going to tie a wee bow with the thread at the top. Trim those ends, and then I can stick that down as well. And then I'm going to add my tag on top. Now, because most of my journaling was done on that journaling tag, I don't need to actually journal on these labels, so I am just going to use some letter stickers to put little titles on, I guess, and I'm not going to make you watch me do it because I was particularly slow with those little ones. Same with these ones. I'm going to use some puffy stickers, again just a different color of teal. I like the difference that the texture adds to it. And I'm just adding that in under my photo, and then I'm going to use my sewing machine to just stitch really carefully around the heart. For this little heart embellishment, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add a couple of layers of tissue behind it just to give it a bit more texture. So I'm just roughly sticking it down and then trimming around it just with my scissors, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the second layer before roughing it up a little bit and then sticking it onto my photo just straight onto the middle. And just because I like things in threes, I'm going to do the exact same thing to this photo as well. I'm just sticking it down to the tissue paper, adding a couple of layers, roughing it up before I stick it onto my card. And then once again, I'm going to add a sort of title with my alpha stickers, but I just needed to make sure that the phrase I wanted to put along it was going to fit, so I added that to the top of my letter stickers first, just to make sure it would fit, which it does, so then I can go ahead and place them onto the card. And last photo is just getting a label and then the exact same letter sticker treatment. I put these letters down, I didn't place them properly first, and so they weren't really centered, so I then had to take them all off and put them all back on again, but eventually I got it even, and then that is my page all done. Do let me know if you've got any questions about using digital elements in your project life, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, it means a lot to me. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!